And we're live. Hey, beautiful people. Just getting things ready. Sharing out this video. It's been a little while, but I'm so happy to be here. Lots of love and light to each and every one of you. I missed all of you. Here we go. Start. Sharing this out. All right, I think I shared it. Hello, hello, hello. We got some beautiful messages coming today for each and every one of us collectively. I'm so happy to be able to come live today. It's been over a month and a half, almost 2 months now since I've been live. It's been an absolutely intense last couple of months, not only collectively, my own personal life, filled with all kinds of events and birthdays and assisting others with readings and working on my website, which has taken a little bit longer than usual. But that's okay. Everything's divine timing, and I truly believe in that. So exciting times. My website is pretty much up and running. There's some last minute tweaks that we're working on, as we also incorporated a live forum page on my website. So basically it's like having my own personal Facebook on my website with live chats, live forums. You get to write to me about the topics that you'd like me to discuss about, or to go into more detail about certain topics that I did touch on, but you'd like to know more about it. So I am so excited about this, not only the page, but the forum, because I will be doing my live videos from my website. So it's a more personalized, free-flowing space versus Facebook, where I find that it's a lot more limited or limiting with our interactions, with people's comments. A lot of things are not showing up on pages, people posting comments. So I'm really excited about this forum on my website, because everything's gonna show, all the comments, all the people, and it's just a much more free flowing space to share our knowledge and to share our stories and experiences and informative insights on real life topics, on soul topics, which we also need, because I not only noticed, however, I have been seeing so much so this past little while, I've had a lot of time to reflect on what's happening collectively. I also ended up going through my own vertigo, so it kept me bedridden for a little while there. So that also added to giving me some downtime to be able to really reflect on what's going on collectively with society, the suffering that's taking place. And basically the one key component that's missing in society is awareness. Awareness is key to minimizing and potentially eliminating suffering from our lives. Suffering meaning pain. So this is so important, and we need to understand and really go within, deep within ourselves, and to understand and realize we are living in a traumatized society. What does that mean? Well, basically, that means is that everybody at one point or another has experienced some sort of impacting trauma and different levels of severity of the trauma. There are certain individuals who are completely not aware of their trauma, actually, most individuals. And we can even receive trauma while we are in the womb. So, and of course, this would be something that we're not conscious of. And there are traumas that we experience throughout childhood, as no one is perfect and there's no such thing as perfect individuals. Therefore, that means that there's a very highly likely chance that you've experienced pain or a painful event or a painful situation within your circle and your surroundings as a child, where your emotions were just not validated. So when our emotions are not validated as children, and a lot of us, we never knew how to self-soothe. We didn't understand how to cope with these emotions that were never validated. And we have to understand and realize that this wasn't necessarily intentional by our loved ones or by our parents or, whoever were our peers at the time while we were growing up, or whoever was raising us or in charge, or our primary caregivers. This is a product of lack of awareness. And this goes back, unfortunately, to centuries of generations of lack of emotional awareness, because everything stems from emotion. Trauma stems from emotional pain and suffering, whether it's a one-time extreme trauma event, or whether it's a long-term period of very uncomfortable and painful situation that can definitely grow and manifest into a trauma-based wound. So the most important thing that we can do, and the first step that we need to take, is for each and every one of us to go deep within and identify what our own personal trauma may be. Now, for most, that's a very difficult thing to do, because our traumas are connected to pain. And usually as a human reaction, we have, our neurological system and function in our brain is set up to try to avoid pain, whether that's physical or whether that's emotional. But the problem is that when we avoid the pain, there's no way to heal it. So what do? We suppress it, and we go into an ego state of denial, and we live through anger and shame and guilt and lack of ability to express ourselves and how we feel. It's almost like most of society is terrified to express the way they truly feel about a certain situation or an event that has taken place in their personal lives. I'm seeing it. And there's so much information and reflection that I've been journaling. And, my way of kind of channeling through to you and delivering the messages and the reflections and the epiphanies that I've noticed collectively with what I do, which is to assist people with identifying their inner emotional traumas. Because I always encourage for each and every one of us to go deep within and look at our own patterns of behavior that are not necessarily serving us, okay? And a part of those patterns that are not serving us are connected to addictions. And there's an article blog that you'll see on my website, and I have been studying the work of Dr. Gabor Mate. And he assists people struggling with severe addictions, and he wrote many books, and he's a very wise man, I feel, and I resonate with his work. And he strongly also agrees that everything is connected to emotion, and that the leading cause of addiction is due to trauma, which is pain. So the more severe the addiction, the more severe the individual experience the trauma in their childhood growing up. So this is something for us collectively, whether we're suffering from an addiction or whether we know someone who's suffering from any sort of addiction, that there's a wounding behind the addiction, an emotional wound that is connected to the actual physical addiction itself. So by understanding how addiction works, unfortunately, people who are traumatized, especially from early childhood, and depending on the severity of the trauma and pain, will experience or are more likely to experience severe addiction later on in life, such as in childhood. So this is something that we all need to be aware of collectively. It's not always the case, but unfortunately, the society we live in is a trauma-based society, and therefore addiction has gone through the roof. There's addiction that I don't think has ever been seen before, or that we've been actually aware of. Opioid addiction, porn addiction, actual psychedelic addiction, there's a shopping addiction. Okay, these are all temporary highs to assist us in soothing our emotions to get away from the pain that has been imprinted in our emotional pain body. By understanding how this works and what society is going through, and this is something that we all share collectively, because either we are personally experienced it, have experienced it, and we're able to heal from it through understanding and awareness, okay? Or we know someone who is struggling with any type of addiction. But I can almost guarantee you and me that everybody suffers from some form of addiction. So I made some notes here. So artificial addiction, whether that's smoking, whether that's shopping, whether that's whatever the case, it's an artificial need that is people are substituting to soothe their emotional pain and suffering. Okay, this is reality. This is reality. So people need to understand what is behind addiction, and most of our population is addicted to severe forms of an addiction. There's less severe, and then there's the severe, which is life-threatening. So that's how I base the severity on addiction. This is real-life topics, okay? This is soul depth topics, and this is the authentic truth of what we all need to become aware of so that we can make the right changes in life to be able to realize and understand what exactly is happening in and around our lives that's affecting every single household behind closed doors. Okay? And this is the truth. So, the truth isn't always easy. The truth isn't always comfortable. And that's why a lot of times most people mask the pain, mask the truth, because it's too uncomfortable and it causes high levels of distress. However, if we don't face and go deep within and look at ourselves as to, okay, what could my trauma be? It might not be that severe because I don't have severe addictions, but it's not necessarily connected to addiction. Nonetheless, the world is suffering from addiction. So that's why we're talking about it, because addiction and emotion are connected. So, and I'm all about emotion and healing emotions. So in saying that, everything's interconnected. By becoming aware of how things are interconnected and how we are connected to the things around us and the people that we love, this is going to give us understanding, and knowledge gives us the ability to accept what is. To accept what is, and when we get to a point of being able to be aware enough to accept what is, we get to the point of just letting it go, of not holding on to it, because we feel like we need to control everything to feel like we can protect ourselves from being hurt or being in pain. But if you've noticed, no matter how much we try to protect ourselves and control the situations in our lives, that doesn't prevent us from experiencing painful situations. Not at all. We're still behind the closed doors. We're still in pain and we're still hurting. No matter how much you try to not be vulnerable, no matter how much you try to not be open about your emotions and your feelings, at the end of the day, the suffering's still there behind the closed doors in every single home. In every single home, everyone's suffering in their own way. And what a sad thing. What a sad thing that everybody's suffering in silence. So my goal and my intention is to provide a safe environment and to be able to provide each and every one of you with insights on real life topics that, most people, they think about and they want to know and they need to know the answers. They're seeking the truth. And I'm here to put it on the table. I'm here to put it on the table. And I love each and every one of you. And I'm so proud of the brave souls that are willing to go within and, embrace both their shadow side and their light side. There's an ancient story that goes back many, 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 many centuries. And it goes something like this. And this is something for each and every one of us to really reflect on. As humans, we have two wolves inside of us. So it's metaphorically speaking. So two wolves. We have the shadow wolf or the dark wolf, and we have the light wolf. So what would the shadow wolf or the dark wolf represent? Well, it would represent all the negative-based emotions such as anger, jealousy, resentment, guilt, shame, all the things that don't necessarily serve us, okay? And then we have the light wolf, right? What does that represent? Compassion, kindness, empathy, understanding, awareness, okay? So it's about, and then there's the question that comes out where, okay, well, which wolf wins? And the answer is whichever wolf we choose to feed within ourselves. So if you choose to feed the anger, if you choose to feed the resentment and the jealousy, then your life will remain just that, and you will attract just that. It's about learning to understand the dark side and aspects of life. And by understanding it and being curious and shedding light on the dark side of life, like why does jealousy exist? Why does anger exist? Usually the underlying emotion behind anger is pain, right? You see so much angry people and anger outside and on the road. People are overworked, they're overtired. There's not enough emotional validation happening within the family structures and extensions. So and extended family structures. We need to start emotionally validating each other. How you feeling today, babe? How you feeling, mom and dad? How have you been? Brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, cousins, more communication, more emotional validation. At the end of the day, we all need to feel like our emotions are validated. I'm telling you, emotional validation as well as awareness can eliminate a lot of emotional suffering and cut addiction down a lot. Just by the simple fact of being aware of not only your own emotions and what you're feeling and reflecting on that on a daily basis, which I always encourage, but also emotionally validating the people that are the most important in your life. Now, saying that, let me just say hello and acknowledge. How's everyone doing here? Lots of love. Nice to see you. Yes. Hi, Deb. We need to heal our inner child. Absolutely, it's connected to our inner child. Absolutely, indeed it is. Don't be shy. Say hello. So, key component is awareness itself. There's some deep topics coming up today, that's for sure. And it's about acknowledging our emotions and just recognizing that because we're perfectly imperfect, that it's definitely likely possible that I was making notes here, that we were loved maybe perhaps not in the right way growing up, or our emotions were not validated enough as children because our parents were, busy surviving and providing. But this goes back generations. It's not just this generation. This goes way back. So everything is based on emotional validation, which can lead to addiction, trauma, and all that jazz. So we have to acknowledge that, it's possible that we've experienced trauma, childhood trauma, due to painful situations where our loved ones couldn't be there for us as we needed them to be, emotionally validating our feelings. So this may have caused us suffering at that time. And it could still be causing suffering because there's a lot of people that haven't healed from that painful invalidation. And it can leave imprints on us, even to the present, right? So it's about understanding what traumas may we have experienced, going within, no matter how uncomfortable it is. The only way out of it, that's how you become more fulfilled, by going through and healing those traumatic emotions and pain and wounds, to be able to become liberated, okay, and to be able to let go of those imprints, okay. And to be able to do that, you have to go within without no judgment, but definitely be curious about it. I know that I was always curious about, understanding myself better emotionally, or understanding my emotions better, right? And that's what I do today. I help other people understand their emotions better and bring it into light, because there can be a lot of confusion when it comes to what we're feeling. So I'm also here to guide you if you experience any confusion or blocks with clarity. I'm here to help you with that. Okay. So this all comes down to, getting outside of a certain point of view. It's about seeing things a little bit more outside the box, not so traditional, not so narrow, but more outside the box. Yes, acknowledging your own feeling is very important, but also acknowledging others' feelings is just as important. It's just as important, and perceiving things from many different perspectives, not just only a one-way vision, right? Because that can lead to suffering as well. Hey, Lizzie. So this past month and a half has been very, very, very intense. It's like feeling like a roller coaster. I've had many people say felt like a roller coaster of emotions, unsettling feelings. You really have to, you will get to a point where you become aware enough to know the difference of when you're seeing things clearly and when you're not seeing things clearly for what they are. And once you get to that point, you will continue going through your lessons until you are able to see it. So, lessons usually come with pain and suffering. However, being committed to really going within and trying to understand without judgment what you're feeling, that's key. That's key towards healing. Turning our pain into self-love, that's key to emotional healing. Emotional alchemy, transforming our pain into love. Hello, Suzanne. How are you? Nice to see you. Don't be shy. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Clark, Jeanette, Ken. Hi, Annette. Long time. How are you? Lots of love. Nice to see you here. Thanks for being here. Hi, Mark, Chuck, James, Sam. Thanks, Deb. Yes, I'm feeling better. Hey, Nikki. Lots of love. Hey, Tammy. Hey, William. Margaret. Manifesting. Very important to manifest and focus on what we want from our true heart desires. I'm going to be pulling some positive, uplifting cards here. Hi, Danielle. How are you? You're so accurate with me. She's saying here. This is so true. Well, lots of love. I'm glad you're resonating. Oh, you're so sweet, Margaret. Thank you. You're amazing too. All right. So I'm already starting to feel, please don't be shy if you'd like a little message card. It's always good to get guidance. We all need it at one point or another. There's nothing wrong with that at all. We have to start to be open with ourselves, guys. We really do. I see a lot of relationships where people are just terrified to have heart-to-hearts with each other. They're going through a hard time. I know in my past I've experienced, difficulties having heart-to-hearts too, and being emotionally vulnerable. I think we all have, and some still are. So I'm here to tell you that you need to be the strong one. You need to be the strong one to start implementing the heart-to-hearts. You gotta go past the fear. You gotta go past the fear. People are afraid to have heart-to-hearts with the people in their lives that mean the most to them. Without those heart-to-hearts, which is emotional vulnerability, and of course everybody's walls are up, at certain times because everybody has their own pain, trauma. But we got to understand, we're never going to feel fully fulfilled. We're never going to have that sense of peace. And we're going to be always looking for that next high, whether it's buying a new purse, that shopping addiction, which most of Western society especially is so addicted to. We're always going to be looking at things to mend and put band-aids on our pain and our wounds that are only temporary. It's just consistent temporary band-aids. Like no one's willing to, get their hands dirty, go within and try to heal it by dealing with it. No, everybody's just trying to cope and shop their pain away, and it's very sad. But at the same time, eventually people are going to start to realize that, okay, these temporary fixes and these temporary highs are not working. They're not helping with the pain. They're not taking it away. Pain keeps coming back. The pain keeps surfacing. Right? So here we go. I went on last minute, and that's okay. There's always replay. So it's about the message. It's not about anything else. So here we go. Margaret. Lots of love. It's I feel you. I empathize with each and every one of you, because in one way or another, we all have some sort of pain that we need to transmute, transform, go through, feel, right? Transforming that pain into love. So by feeling it, we heal it, feel it, go through it, understand it, dissect it. Oh, where did it come from? Oh, you have to go through it to heal it. Most people choose not to go through it, just bandage it. And here we are in a society full of addictions. Everybody's miserable, but putting on a mask of everything's great. It's only going to take us so far as humanity, and our kids are seeing it. And where's that going to lead them? No good. We need to face our shit. We need to go through it. I'm here to help. And we'll take it from there. So Margaret, acceptance. A lot of us just want to feel accepted. But I'll tell you what, we have to be the ones to accept ourselves. That's where it starts. The key is self-acceptance. Sometimes acceptance means accepting the unacceptable with grace. So potentially it could even mean if someone can't accept us for who we are, we have to accept that as well, right? Free yourself from unnecessary emotional suffering. Acceptance. That's one of the keys. Being aware of our trauma, understanding our trauma, and then finally accepting our trauma. Then comes liberation, the ability to let go of those trauma wounds, to be able to heal the emotional pain body, which is the imprint of the trauma left in our energy field. So you are more than your body or mind. Isn't that the truth? We live in a society where the heart and the soul and the body can't be one. Think about that. Especially in Western society. The soul and the body, they don't want it to be united in one. It's from here up. The heart's being left out. Everybody's ego driven. Who has more? Who has what? Where's the heart? Where's the compassion? Where's all that? This is the legacy, and this is the world that we want to leave behind for our children. Who has more and who has what? Versus, oh my God, let me help you. You've fallen and can't get up. Not, oh, let me step right over you so I can reach the finish line first. Wow. So it's about being aware of the unpleasant realities of life, which is the shadow side of life, and implementing and making the free will choice of which wolf do you choose to feed within you. Because at the end of the day, it starts with you. It starts with each one of us to make the change, to leave behind a more fulfilled and liberated and loving legacy. That feels right here. So, love yourself completely and unconditionally. Absolutely. When we get to that point of awareness and understanding, right? Because most of us don't love ourselves enough to heal our trauma. Instead, we choose to swim in it and feel like a victim, and that becomes a vicious addiction cycle in itself. So there's many forms of addiction, not just physical and fabricated addiction, but also mental and emotional addictions as well. In finding your true self, you could just live happily ever after. At the end of the day, this journey is about finding our true self and allowing ourselves to be authentic without having to wear masks. Masks of my life's perfect. How's yours? Right? It's about being open about real life topics like, hey, I experienced this in my life, and I've been thinking, like, what would you say? What are your insights on it? People you trust, people you can depend on. But let me tell you this, and this is where it becomes difficult, is a lot of times, even within our family circles, that's where the trauma and the painful situations arise, because where the love is. Technically, we can only be hurt by the ones we love and care for. And it's most of the time, it's not intentional pain and situations that were caused. A lot of the times, it was just simply lack of awareness of how to show love the right way and how to provide and be that emotional validation to our children. So it's been lost and hasn't been passed down through our generations about how important and crucial it is to have our emotions validated, because it affects us every day, and it can affect us for the rest of our life, especially trauma stemming from childhood, unless we choose with our own free will to go deep within and be strong and courageous enough to face that uncomfortable and distressful feelings and emotions, to be able to digest and understand and make sense of, and to review your own behavioral past patterns, to be able to get to a point of understanding, to be able to get to eventually the point of acceptance. So Margaret, acceptance, and this goes for us all, but it's almost like, Margaret, you are learning and continue to learn, and you have learned quite a bit about what acceptance means to you. What acceptance means to you and how it's impacted your life. And you've experienced what it is to feel not accepted for who you truly are as you began to come more out of your shell, as you started becoming more aware of maybe, what a societal condition mask that you may have worn without being consciously aware of. Wear masks that they don't even know they wear because they're not being true and authentic with what they're feeling. So, nonetheless, we live in a judgmental world. However, as soon as we stop judging ourselves, you'll start to notice that you will become carefree of judgment, period. Period. The only thing you're going to care about is learning to judge well in the sense of discerning between what feels authentic. Margaret, hope you resonated with that card, love. I know I did, and I'm sure a lot of other people did as well. So let me know if you'd like a card. Lots of love and light. Hi, Karen. Good vibes to you as well. Hey, John. Lots of love. Lots of love. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so here we go. Susan Corbett. Ooh, it's a little too many. Oh, lots of love to each and every one of you. You know, I empathize through your eyes. You know, I wrote some more notes here. I wrote so much. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get through all of it. You know, just whatever flows. I guess that's meant to, you know, be delivered today. But I do recognize and I do realize and I do feel and I really do empathize with each and every one of you. And I just want to say I love you. I love you, and I understand. And I understand that the struggle is real. The struggle is real. The pain, you know, I understand just how real it feels and it can be. And I also wrote here, and it's so true, that I've experienced from my own journey, is that no matter how real the struggle feels, that struggle and that struggle of suffering emotionally, especially silently, that until our awareness reaches a level to be able to see the solutions within our own lives and others. So believe me, you'll get to a point where you'll be able to see the solutions to all your emotional suffering. It's called conscious evolution. It's called awareness. You will get to that point. But until then, you know, there's lots of love and light, information, and just follow your heart and, you know, find the teachers and the mentors that you really resonate with from here. Because there's a lot of information out there from here. Okay? Follow what you resonate from here. That can't lead you astray. This could lead you astray because the mind can provide and produce a lot of doubts. This, you know, this and then with this together, that's the best way. But it takes practice to master. Okay, Suzanne, sorry. Here we go. Oh, this flipped out. Mystery. Ooh. Let's see, Susan. When you acknowledge and trust the unexplainable, you can rise above the ordinary. Be open to miracles and magic. Be curious and trust your intuition. Curious. There's the word curious, right? Allow your soul to form an intimate union with spirit through prayer and contemplation. Open your eyes to the sacredness in all things. Welcome mystery. Guys, Earth is a school of mystery. I mean, it's full of mystery. It's full of the unknown. Isn't the unknown the mystery of life? Right? So this is why it's so important to practice strengthening our intuition, because our intuition is key. It's key, and it's our internal GPS that leads us towards our best and highest good, that leads us towards our liberation in life, to lead us towards the liberation from emotional suffering. that most of the world's going through in one way or another. And that's everyone, every human that has emotion. Every human is emotion. Every human has emotion. Emotion is life. Just a lot of us are in denial of our emotions, and that's when eventually it starts manifesting into physical illness. So, number 10, goals are dreams with deadlines. Goals are dreams with deadlines. In a sense, there. Let's see. Who am I feeling? Lots of love, guys. Hey, Christina, how are you? Sure. Okay, I'm going down my list here. So, Christina Garcia, darling, dream. You live another life between dusk and dawn. As night falls, you are able to rest and regenerate. Your dreaming subconscious uses your imagination to teach and enlighten you. A dream is a space where who you are and who you want to be can connect. Ooh, this is deep. There's that goal. There's that goal I just read. Goals are dreams with deadlines. And then the dream card comes up. I just caught that. So, wow. Your dreaming subconscious uses your imagination to teach and enlighten you. A dream is a space where who you are and who you want to be can connect. Dreams can be the first stepping stones to manifesting your visions and goals. I'm gonna replay this video and watch it myself. That's exactly it. This was what I originally pulled out, but I just happened to read it now. I usually read this as soon as I pull it out, but I got sidetracked, and then the dream card just came up, and here we go with the dreams and goals. Dreams can be first stepping stones to manifesting your visions and goals. Sleep peacefully and remember to dream. So everyone's encouraged to dream. Keep dreaming the dreams, the positive dreams, the things that you wish to manifest in your lives. It's very important and it's key. And there's nothing wrong with dreaming beautiful dreams and manifesting your deepest heart's desires and dreaming and fantasizing about your dreams, you know, of what your heart wishes in all the good things. Guys, keep dreaming. Get to know yourselves. You're more than just your 9 to 5s. You're more than what you believe to be. There's much more depth to us than what we know to be, that we're aware of. You know, there's so much for me to say, but all in increments, all in divine timing. And, you know, we need to take the time to digest the information, to really digest and go within if you're truly committed to understanding yourself better, right? And never mind what everybody else is doing. Worry about finding out your own trauma and working on healing your own pain and learning more about yourself. So this is key. This is key towards a better life, better health. I think this is for all of us. That's what I'm feeling. And then I'll do Karen next. Take care of your one precious body. Yeah, this has been very evident through my reflection this past few weeks. Come to know its needs and cycles. Just like Mama said, eat healthy, nutritious foods, drink plenty of water, and find an exercise program that works for you. Now, if you go to my website, emotionalhealerclaudiawithk.com, like I said in the beginning of this video, it's pretty much done, just some minor tweaks and adjustments. With the live forum, I still have to figure out how to use it and meet up with my web guy there. But he has a crazy, hectic schedule, and I have had one too. But nonetheless, we're supposed to be meeting in the next day or so. So I'm going to figure out and be shown how it all works. And I'm so excited to use my website forum live. And, we're excited to launch it. We're working on the all the speed and all that stuff, because there's a lot of stuff on there. My videos and my links to my YouTube channel and an Instagram and my Facebook page. So it's all good. Make sure you get plenty of rest. Your future health depends on the patterns you establish now. Be well. Isn't that truth? So guys, we need to be more consciously aware of our health. But it's not just the physical health. It actually starts and stems from our emotional health. If our emotional health is not in check, and if we don't heal the painful trauma and the wounds, eventually it will manifest into physical symptoms and illness. That's just the way it works. Lots of love. I'm here to help. And you can contact me through my website. All the information's there. Hi, John. Thank you for saying hi. He's on a road trip. He cannot join, but he wanted to say hi. Lots of love, John. Okay, Karen. Diversity. We are as unique as our thumbprints. As humans, we are an incredible blend of ethnic groups, traditions, and customs. This makes our world a colorful and fascinating place. When we respect instead of fear others' ways, isn't this the truth? Even though they are different than our own, we take a big step towards creating peace and tolerance in the world, period. Honor diversity. What a great message. And I hope you, Karen, you resonate with it as well. Maybe you've experienced diversity. Maybe you've experienced, being judged. I mean, maybe you were one to judge others in your past before you became more aware, that, maybe you were always afraid to be judged by others. It's a social conditioning, right? So, yeah, this is about acceptance. It's connected to acceptance, diversity, right? So we're all learning and going through our different processes. Hi, Shisham. She says, love you. Love you too. I'll pull you a card. Oh, Margaret, you're so sweet. Okay, so here we go. Shisham, let's see. If you guys have any topics that you'd like me to talk about on my next live, please leave comments. Okay. Christina's saying, I've been dreaming a lot. Yeah, well, you got the dream card. So, Sheshan, let's see. Keep dreaming. Sheshan. Let me know what you've been experiencing these past month. Have you been feeling like an emotional roller coaster? It's almost like the emotions, we're having a hard time to become stable. They're just starting to stabilize now, but there's still a lot of things going on collectively, energetically. Woo! Okay, so Sheshan, insight. From the beginning, women had a sixth sense for finding the true nature of a thing or a person and finding our own true nature within ourselves, right? This quality reminds us that we are connected to a much larger understanding than our own. Becoming more aware of the bigger picture. These insights, hunches, and gut feelings support us in our quest for the truth. I love you, truth seekers, compassionate, empathetic, sensitive individuals. Life's, they say it's sometimes it feels like both a blessing and a curse at the same time. Well, that's the yin and the yang. That's the light and the shadow. That's the good versus the evil. That's the light versus the darkness. That's just the way this school of life seems to operate. So it's about understanding the dark side and aspects of life and embracing the light aspects of light, right? And feeding the light. It's about coming out of the dark once you understand it, right? And getting the heck out of there, not staying in it and being stuck in a vicious cycle of darkness, of pain, of addictions, right? There's always, where there's a will, there's a way. And sometimes we just need help with that. Okay. So, yeah. So from the beginning, women had a sixth sense for finding the true nature of a thing or a person. This quality reminds us that we are connected to a much larger understanding than our own. These insights, hunches, and gut feelings support us in our quest for the truth. So be open and trusting of your inner sight. If it feels right, it most likely is right. Look within. And that's the key. And that's the key that each and every one of us need to do. This just flipped over. So this needs to come up. It's a collective card, but I'm going to say that, what am I feeling? Deb. So it's almost like you're learning to have more compassion with yourself. And we all need to learn more of this, indeed. The world has gifted us with amazing examples of people who embody compassion. Think of someone in your life who has those qualities and carry on their legacy. Here's the word legacy. This is crazy. I love it. Legacy of love and understanding. So this card is asking us to think of someone we know of or may know personally that left behind a legacy of love and compassion. And if you rewind this video or if you watch it again, I talked about leaving behind a legacy for our children and for our children's children, a legacy that has been lost for centuries. That's been tried to be brought back into humanity ever since and even before Christ, right? And look at what a legacy Christ himself left behind that's been twisted and altered and tried to be denied. But there's truth in it all. I always say there's truth in everything. You just need to be courageous enough to see it. So nonetheless, leaving a legacy behind of compassion and kindness. Geez, that sounds like an amazing goal with a deadline for sure in this life. So this will help you to become a more compassionate human being. We all need that, and we all need to go back to being that because it's been lost. And if you go deep within enough, you'll understand and realize that that's actually who we truly are meant to be. All right. We've just lost that along the way because easier road was chosen, which was the egoic denial way and just bandage everything because there's so much distractions available to do that. So therefore, everybody's just trying to, get as much as they can, but yet they're not filling up the cup of love inside, you see, which is the most important part and why we're here to feel and experience. So the ability to think with your heart and feel with your mind allows you to truly walk in another's shoes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I feel you. I love you. I understand. We are all one. The compassion and tolerance that you give to the world will return to you in miraculous ways. Amen. So it is to that. Law of attraction. Do small things with great love. What goes around truly does come around. So, love and light. That's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing, the messages that are coming through. I like it. Loving it. Let me know how you're resonating. Karen saying, thank you. I'm always aware of making sure everyone can be themselves and feel comfortable. I was judged a lot because I'm spiritual and highly empathetic. Now I feel free of it and enjoy my diversity. Amen. Beautifully said. Beautifully said, Karen. And, I love that. I love that. And what an amazing message to share. What an amazing message to share to whoever who chooses to watch this video. My videos are here for emotional healing and insightful purposes, to be a guide and voice of direction that can potentially lead you towards your best and highest good. Okay, so lots of love. Oh, look at this. It was like put down. So addiction. All right. Addiction. I'm going to pull this one too. Growth. Emotions. And knowledge. Boom. I'm going to finish off with that because it's meant for all of us. Boom. Just like this. As it came. Here we go. Addiction. We find ourselves falling into addiction when feelings of emptiness and insecurity, failure, or lack of self-love creep deep within us. These emotions create a gaping hole in our souls. We seek things to justify the emptiness, such as food, alcohol, drugs, people, stuff, and more stuff. Okay? The more we try to escape, it is as if we are bound to something over which we have no control. And the hole becomes darker and deeper. When we find ourselves acting in unhealthy ways, this is a huge warning sign. Realizing something is wrong and addressing these painful issues right away is important, rather than diverting to false moments of comfort. Here we go with the artificial needs, right? Versus genuine needs. We live in a society and culture full of artificial needs. People think they need artificial things, clothes, food, things that overindulgence. This is artificial, fake, not authentic lives. People need to understand this and become aware of it. A lot of people are not even aware they're living a fake life. So here we go to awareness. Oh, sorry to burst the bubble for a lot of people, but the truth shall set us free. So working towards an understanding of your feelings and finding the solution to recovery is the key. Woo! Working towards understanding of your feelings and finding the solution to recovery is key. So, like I said earlier, understanding the feelings leads to accepting and then releasing, letting go, surrendering, acceptance, right? So I'm here to help with that. If you have trouble, know that there are people who understand you, who have walked in your shoes. This is where faith kicks in, right? And hope and humanity, right? People know that there has been people that not only walked in shoes like you have, meaning similar situation, maybe same type of situation, and there are also people with very high empathetic abilities and gifts that can feel and literally sense the shoes that you've walked in. Okay? So, this is part of my gift. This is why I do what I do. And I help as many as I can who are willing to be helped. Okay? So, having walked in shoes, it means who have felt and who know and understand your pain, which is technically emotional validation. Start emotionally validating your own emotions, and you'll start to see a shift in your consciousness and awareness, and you'll start to have more compassion for humanity and for yourself and for the people closest to you that have probably originally caused your original trauma and wounding. You'll have a lot more compassion for them because you understand that it was simply due to lack of awareness and understanding of how to love the right way and how to even go about emotionally validating emotions, period. More than likely, they weren't even able to emotionally validate their own emotions and pain. So how can we justify and expect them to have been able to emotionally validate ours? So here's to awareness, here's to understanding, here's to forgiving ourselves for not knowing better by not understanding or being aware of how we became traumatized or wounded. Here's to the journey of the now and the present moment and to becoming aware of understanding and becoming more liberated and free. Yeah. So, seek help to heal your sorrow and know there is joy waiting for you in the most amazing, beautiful, and unexpected places within you and outside you. You are not alone, and you are never alone. And don't ever think you're alone, because most of society is suffering in silence. People are afraid to get help or to talk to somebody, to have their emotions validated. That's what I do. I emotionally validate your feelings. When there's a lot of people that are just not able to have their emotions validated because of lack of awareness. Okay, so just know that there is people out there that you can talk to. I'm here as well, and just know that there are solutions. There always is. And if you're open enough to look at different angles and perspectives, then you'll always be able to find a solution, and you will get there. Emotions are undeniable and complex. Oh, isn't that the truth? I love these cards. They're one of my new decks. Whether it be joy or sorrow, emotions play a huge part in who you are. Well, that's a fact. Be aware of your inner cycles and mood swings. Here we go with awareness. Number one key component that society is mostly missing. Look inside yourself honestly for places that need healing. This is all connected. When your emotions are negative, light a candle, and as the wick burns, imagine unpleasant feelings melt. Learn to express, cry, vent, and breathe. Instead of riding a roller coaster like this past month. That's exactly what it's been, emotional purging. If you guys saw my wall and I was writing, it's been a heck of a time. I've been feeling it collectively. I've been purging emotionally my personal stuff as well as all your stuff. Oh my God, it was very intense. No wonder I was going through vertigo. So yes, emotional purging means learning to express, cry, venting, breathing. Instead of riding a roller coaster, let your emotions wash over you like waves in the ocean. Allow yourself to feel. These are new cards, so I haven't even read these yet. So here's to trusting and having full faith in our guardian angels to be able to come through me, to be able to deliver the messages, and for allowing me to interpret it in a way that is all connected and literally is coming together from the starting to the end. And how grateful I am to my angels and the Holy Spirit. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. Knowledge is not only power, but knowledge is presence. Knowledge is awareness. Stay curious and interested about yourself and who you are. Who you are. What are you feeling and why? What have your life experience been? What are your past healthy patterns and not so healthy patterns, right? So study, learn, create, self-educate on real life topics. Open your beautiful mind and explore all there is to know. Surround your most deep and essential self with positive inspiration. Get together with people of like interests, debate, exchange ideas and theories. Yes. Become an expert. Honor your intelligence. Knowledge is power. Here we go. I love these cards. They're confirming exactly what I'm feeling and the divine messages that are coming through. And that's how usually my readings happen, is I intuitively deliver the messages of whatever I'm feeling. And literally the cards are just a tool for us to visually see exactly what I just spoken about in the session. So the clients that know me and have gotten a reading, you can attest to this. So this is the way my readings and my sessions work. I feel and sense, I deliver and interpret the messages from our guardian angels, mine and yours together combined. And literally the visual comes after, so that it's more of an impact, right? Because it just goes to confirm and affirm exactly the messages that are being delivered. So what a beautiful thing, and just sincere gratitude to the angels and the beautiful work. It's I give them all the credit. So yeah. So the last one is growth. Growth happens naturally. We are born, we grow, we change. At first, our care and growth is dependent on others. Once we reach young womanhood or young adulthood, we can control our greenhouse, so to speak. We decide what kind of environment is the healthiest, what kind of nutrients we need, what kind of compassionate harbors our growth in our positive way. What kind of compassionate companionship harbors our growth in a positive way? Interesting. That's something to think about as well. Set down strong and powerful roots in the name of yourself. Rejoice in your blossoming maturity and remember to leave room for your branches to dance in the wind and reach for the sky. Well, that's beautiful. That surely sounds like growth. Growth can be painful, but it can also be a very beautiful process. And never be afraid. You know, we have to transmute that fear into love. We have to transmute that pain into love by showing ourselves compassion and kindness and willing to understand without judgment. our pain. It's not always easy, but the right way is the hard way. Right? The right way is the hard way. Life's not meant to be a walk in the park because we're here to learn. The only time it gets hard is when we refuse to learn. When we refuse to learn from the life lessons that present themselves to be able to provide us with growth, to be able to provide us with the knowledge so that we can embrace the power in a positive, kind, compassionate, and a loving way that we're meant to deliver and share in this world called life, earth, right? It's about using and expressing our emotions in a healthy way. It's about choosing the emotions of the light wolf versus the dark wolf, right? So I think we left you with more than enough to reflect on. And again, I was just going with the flow, and I'm grateful, and I hope that it made sense. I probably encourage you to watch it again, make some notes, because this is very intense. It's very deep, but it's true. And this is something that each of us has to reflect upon, because I can guarantee you, without judgment, addictions are everywhere, and it's in every household, and we are either suffering from some form of addiction at some level, maybe low versus extreme. This is why I'm saying this topic is not talked about too often, but this topic is indeed relevant and is indeed needed to be reflected upon collectively. So this is why I was called to share it with each and every one of you. Okay. So, and addictions go from, unfortunately, the very unfortunate and homeless all the way to the elite and all in between, the working class, the middle class, however you want to call it, all over the world, from the poorest to the richest. There's emotional suffering happening, period. If you're human, and you do have emotion, and therefore there is trauma there that needs to be healed. However, we do have free will, and each of us has a choice whether they choose to experience living a fulfilled and more peaceful life versus an addictive, coping bandage, suffering way of being, which nobody deserves at the end of the day, right? And there is help out there, but you need to learn to discern, to look for the help that's meant for you with your heart. God bless each and every one of you. Be sure to check out my website. Again, there's some minor tweaks, a couple things need to be bolded, minor things, but nonetheless, it's there. And I love you guys. I'll be on live as soon as I'm called to be, and I truly believe in divine timing. And just keep a lookout on my page, and we'll see you soon. Ciao.